Hey there, everyone. Welcome to an episode of Whispers in the Dark, my podcast as Coach Adessa. This podcast is created for a variety of reasons, but mainly uh, just to be able to speak out more on topics of interest that don't limit you guys to having to cope through my semi-novel ways of communicating. So anybody that's already been connected with me knows that I can speak through words without hesitation, and I still am not bothered to do so. There will still be times that those are available through posts and other actions. This has also opened the door for the free offer to be able to receive advice and feedback or true speaking and other guidance that I can offer in my unique and creative ways to be staying free of cost. Um, and that is done through a Dropbox method, which there's explanations for and links that give access to that. But either way, welcome again to the episode of Whispers in the Dark. Today's topic is looking at the concept of normalcy and common sense. It's just become too common for me. So I just want to talk about it. But before I get into that, for anybody that does not know me yet, I like to always just give everybody a heads up. I am one of the most unprofessional professionals that you can meet. It's how I identify. I literally say it anywhere and everywhere I go. Hi, my name is Adessa Perez. I am one of the most unprofessional professionals that you could meet. It means that I'm just myself. I don't put too much thought and action into giving a specific type of presentation. And also, I am very incapable of speaking in a scripted way. So I don't prep with scripts and do all of that. I just speak. And so there's times that you might get tired of hearing me say, there's times that I might circle on accident, whatever, but I am just being me full time. And also, there's times like right now where I could just be on this yoga ball or doing other unique and whatever things that allow me, again, to just be myself. Um, and I'm okay with that. And you can have sarcastic humor with me, fun with me, criticism, whatever works for you will work for me, even if it has negative vibes. I don't really engage the negativity. But again, like I said, just a heads up that this is not uh, this and other things that I do is my own thing, my own ways of speaking and communicating. So, with that said, the main thing that uh, has been kind of getting to the point of weighing on me does start with normalcy. And then I will progress into connecting it to common sense. Through our release exercises, our open discussions that are happening, whether it's through current clientele or just times that I'm engaging with people on social media, or honestly, even just day by day, no matter the environment, it's just coming up all the time. And a lot of people are becoming very hostile when it comes to the concept of normalcy. And then on the other end, people are becoming very lost and confused and stressed and emotional because they can't figure out what normal even means anymore. So I'm just going to talk about the way I see things like I do any other time anyway. It's just what I do. The way I see things in life, normalcy does not exist. Normalcy represents this idea of a single, universally accepted normal state, which does not exist. A motto that I've always had and will always have, and am like literally living by every second at this point. What applies to one never applies to all. Never. Nothing is 100% applied to everyone. Nothing. Well, we need oxygen to breathe. Yes, but we have free will. Well, everybody has to stay hydrated. Yes, we have free will, and no, everybody does not have to stay hydrated. They choose to be hydrated. And if they choose to live life to the fullest, they will be hydrated full time. But they do not. Do people fast? People are creative in what they choose for hydration to look like and mean to them. Everybody's sleep needs are differently. Even age development is different. What applies to a 3-year-old, a 12-year-old, an 18-year-old, a 25-year-old, a 35-year-old, a 65-year-old does not apply to everyone with the same age. same gender identity, by choice, by free will, by whatever. It does not matter. What applies to one never applies to all. There is nothing scientifically, medically, or even day-to-day living in society purposes and perspectives 100% for every single human being. That is what welcomes the opportunity for debate. That is what welcomes the opportunity for individualization. It's what welcomes the acknowledgement of bioindividuality. And it is definitely what calls for the advocacy that exists with every single field, no matter what it looks like. It can be a sport, athletic field, it can be medical fields, system-based divides, the silos, whatever we're talking about. So literally, what applies to one never applies to all. I assure you that I'm speaking through evidence and not opinion because I do my best to live without opinion. We are conditioned to somehow have opinions, but I'm very open-minded. I love to hear everyone, and I try my best to not welcome a single dose of judgment. Again, to the best of my ability, because at the end of the day, I am a human being, but I live to agree to disagree because it does not apply to all of us. What is considered normal can vary greatly depending on each unique individual. In reality, normalcy is not a true reflection of human experience. Life is unique for each individual human being, where what is considered normal for one might not be normal for another person. Everyone is born in their own environment and go through their own lessons, life experiences, and discoveries, where change is inevitable over time and it can definitely vary. This is why there are also limited societal norms and expectations, which in return can have limited common sense. When I hear all it takes is common sense, I normally say, what does common sense mean to you? And then I get answers that's like, I mean, obviously, just doing common sense. What does common sense mean to you? It's not that hard. Just do A, just do B, just do C. So common sense means to you that it's not just hard to do the tasks and things that you think should be done by the other person. I usually get silence after that question. But that's because they don't know where I'm going with asking more questions. But see, in other environments besides conflict resolution that I'm doing in a one-on-one session or a group coaching, it is a different type of expression of common sense, more hostile, even. Not assertive. I mean, straight up aggression, judgmental, toxic expressions of like pretty much telling someone, you're so stupid or you're so disgusting and whatever they're saying, their whole expression of common sense, like I said, hostile. And then when I was looking close, I'm like, why is this happening so much? Like, why is this being identified in connection to a common sense? And I would be like, just shadowing. And then sometimes that comes out, like that can come out in some of our group discussions, and I'm able to facilitate it. Don't worry, our group stuff doesn't get, we don't foster conflict in our spaces. But when it's happening, I realized common sense kind of got a new definition, it seems, because common sense is not about meeting a standard to fall in line with popular opinion. It's not about everyone needing to have the same personal preferences. It's not about, like, common sense doesn't mean that everyone's just born with some specific knowledge on how to function and serve a purpose today. So when I hear what happened to common sense after all of this stuff I've been witnessing and chattering, I'm like, well, this is very equal to my concern and key point. What happened to moral principles? My understanding is that to have common sense is to live life in moral character. To be in moral character is to demonstrate compassion. That don't include hostility, by the way. It's to demonstrate empathy, humility, a strong ability to think and behave in more reasonable and responsible ways, to make good choices and decisions that are in best interest of more than oneself. Yeah, to be selfless and to live with more purpose and intent. That's common sense. Common sense is about it was meant to be. It's about the ways for us to live in the reasonable and responsible way through our thoughts and behaviors alongside of one another in society. And society is meant to mean just the simple fact that we are all human beings living around one another in an environment. That's society, people living amongst each other. And immoral characteristics are becoming more and more common. That is what is fostering negativity throughout the world. But what I see to be interesting me the most and why it stands out to me in an emotional way, where I'm like, come on, when it comes to the thoughts about normalcy and the thoughts about common sense, majority of my people have immoral character right now or narcissistic traits or both because they're complementary one another. I mean, narcissistic traits are immoral character. That's why I specialize in narcissism because the majority of my people have narcissistic traits as a part of their survival mode in order to be able to live and function throughout life right now because it's the way they learned how to survive. And they have to discover themselves in order to live any differently. So when it comes to how much hostility I'm seeing, how much judgments I'm seeing, how much fixations I'm seeing, I'm like, all it would take is moral character. But when we want to be part of the population that is fixating and obsessing and judging and insulting and criticizing and giving people even more stuff to have to deal with, they're going to keep developing those life skills. We want to respond to everything by saying, if you're going to have immoral character, I'm going to respond to you with immoral character. What makes that support making a difference? What is that influencing? What is that encouraging? What is that supporting? What messages does it send? What boundaries does it put in place? And how would you feel and what would you think if I responded to you, not just because I said nobody crosses my path if they don't relate to having a moral character, not just because I said that, partially because I said that, but not just because I said that. How would you respond if instead of me saying, what does common sense mean to you when you're releasing your frustration and agitation? Instead of me asking that, how would you respond when I say, what gives you the right to have a moral character then, if all it takes is common sense? Because other people doing what they do, when they do it, how they do it, shouldn't be what's used to excuse yourself from having common sense. Nothing should be what excuses yourself from your own moral principles. Nothing should be fixated on comparisons to prevent yourself from becoming a better version of you, from living life in a more full and satisfying way. And why wouldn't you want to free yourself to be able to see past all of this stuff you don't agree with? Do we want to see less of it? Will I still stand up for my own advocacy? Absolutely. But I'm talking about the fact that a lot of this stress, the stress parts, are connected to the forced acceptance arena that you really don't even have much of a right to be obsessing over. That's what the fixations are. You should free yourself and you free your opportunities to grow above it and to not continue to be a part of what's fostering the existence of this immoral character. You could do that even without completing the whole discovery process. You could do it just by saying, I'm going to be above this. I'm going to be a bigger person. I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to be a stronger person. I'm not going to step down to this. And I'm definitely not going to engage in a conflict over something just because I don't think the same way as this person. That could be common sense. It could be that simple. You could just do that. What makes you different? than the people you are so stressed out by. If in those moments you are having a whole list of what you may think makes them careless, stupid, the problem, the cause, you're spending so much time in that state of rage. When they look careless, it is equally evidence that they could potentially be confirming what I said earlier, that they are in survival mode. When they're not in conflict with you, being in conflict with them, I know it takes two people. There's no conflict without two people. I don't believe in normalcy. It can be unique. They might not be feeling it as conflict. They may be feeling it as just being themselves and doing the best they can in that moment. They could be their best self right now and not know any better. And for your common sense, you could see and hear that. You can be less stressed. You can be more, a little bit more understanding, a little bit more reasonable, a bit more responsible. You could stop being distracted by those comparisons and looking too close to all the other people. You could be more purposeful for yourself. And then the last thought, circle back to that normalcy, wrapping that up. I really do strongly encourage any and everyone to kind of buy in to what I'm saying, that what applies to one never applies to all. And when you buy into that, take it a step further. And again, let go of fixations, let go of like, what's normal? Don't even say, I want to be normal. Do what you wish. I always have to foster free will. Do as you wish. But what I'm encouraging is that instead of trying to fit in with normal by popular definition and explanation of what they consider normal to be, what they would agree or disagree with, and how many opinions can outweigh the others, that reflection of normal, take a break from it. Just take a break from it. Take a vacation. Take a 2 week vacation from looking at what is or is not normal. And spend some time finding your norms. NORMS. What are your norms? If you take some time to see your norms of what you can stand and what you can't stand, what you love, what you don't love, joy, no joy. Like this discover some of that. Again, it's not about becoming your whole true self overnight. Just discover your norms. What brings passion to life? What brings joy? What brings that free spirit? Discover it. Do more of it. Make it more normal than looking at all the other stuff that was preventing these things from being known and a part of your day-to-day living. Have that awareness that includes the downsides. Like what brings a downside? What are those things? What are those norms that give you those feelings? Scenario based, not people obsessions and watching them too closely and knowing all of their norms more than your own. You might become very empowered enough to have even more common sense, like what you're longing for, to live a much less stressful moment, one moment at a time. When you know your norms, you know more of yourself, what works for you, what's in your best interest, that allows you to be the best version of yourself that you can be, being your best self one day at a time, knowing that over time it could become even better. That when you have the list of the norms of what takes you away from yourself, you can learn what you need to be more responsive to and know how to respond, not react to those norms so that you could be and even have even more of the experiences of the joy side and the passion side and the common sense side of you. What are the norms that bring that out? Where else can you apply them? Those types of things. Instead of spending so much time, like I said, looking on judgment and opinion and statistics and stereotypes and all of that, just keep finding like your thing and see if I'm wrong about what applies to one never applies to all that. See if I'm wrong. See if I am wrong about your definition of common sense and that definition of normalcy. And then we can have a whole completely different discussion than what led to this episode. And I'd be more than happy to actively listening to your evidence over opinion and would very much be ready to mutually respect whatever comes to surface for you And I will continue to know why I feel the way that I do. And I will be more than happy to love and support the way that you feel and think through this type of experience compared to the fixations and not evidence-based discussions. I'd love it. I would love it. No matter if that discussion was done through one of our chats, like one-on-one, comments, whatever. I'm all for it. I am all for it. But you might feel so much weight lifted off your shoulders just from spending more time with yourself. Just spending more time looking at yourself, spending more time saying, wait, you're saying that because my immoral character is coming out because this person keeps doing this and I'm tired of seeing this and I'm tired of dealing that. You think, yes, I think that you deserve to not have someone else have the opportunity to feel the same way as you about you because you are so upset and so bothered that you deserve to be a better version of yourself. If that is what you are communicating that you truly wish to see in this world, and you truly wish to be a part of, I am saying that you deserve to learn how to not let that character out, no matter how pissed off you could be. That's exactly what I said. I said that here that I said that you yourself have immoral character and lack of common sense if you are reacting and not responding to stress in your environments. That's exactly what I said. As a coach that gives direct truth speaking, that is exactly what I said. And it is not said through judgment and insult. It is said through encouragement to say, I'm so glad that you've been stressed enough to be tired of seeing and experiencing this and wishing that other people could figure it out. But you know what? For now, how about we help you figure it out? That's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said. So thanks for hanging out with me if you made it this far, and I will see you on a different episode.